Video 5, we're going to look at one parent function. It is the greatest integer function. It's drawn here. If you're ever confused on how to draw it, just remember it's closed circle to an open circle. Because, like, for instance, once you hit the greatest integer less than or equal to 1, right, at 0.999, it's still included as 0 because the greatest integer less than or equal to 0.999 is 0. But once you hit 1, it jumps up to 1 because the greatest integer less than or equal to 1 is 1. So it's basically a closed dot to an open dot all the way through. And these would keep going in both directions. I just drew a part of it. So that's your greatest integer function less than or equal to x. And that's kind of the notation that we use. So here we have the greatest integer notation, right? So it's the greatest integer less than or equal to x minus 1.8. So this minus 1.8 is responsible for some type of a transformation, and that is a translation. And it's not inside the not inside the greatest integer bars here. So that's not a movement left and right. Instead, it's on the outside of the bars. So that is a translation that would be up and down. And because it's minus 1.8, as you may have guessed, that would basically shift this graph and move it down 1.8 units. So something like right about, there or thereabouts. So that's kind of the new graph that we have. So, with it comes a different domain and a range and a 0. And what I want you to do, and this one's a little bit trickier than some of the other videos, find the domain, the range, and the zeros of this graph in your groups.